Hello, this is Magdala with a Time for God. Today is the 4th day of June 2024. And this month, we're talking about God's laws and principles. And usually when I start a new theme, I like to talk a little about the why I'm bringing up that theme. We talked about seeking God, talked about benefits of seeking God. We talk about the challenges of seeking God and serving God. And now we're talking about God's principles, His laws, and why. And why am I bringing this up now? Well, because I understand that when you don't know what you're doing or what you're up against, it makes it a little more difficult. When you understand what you're doing and why what you're doing is important, it makes all the difference in the way you deal with it, the way you approach it, and the way you come out of it. And that's why I'm going through these different themes and topics, to help someone understand that there is value. Now, why God's principles and His laws? I was doing my Bible reading this morning in Daniel. And in the book of Daniel, I realized in chapter 2 that when Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had made the proclamation that all the magic practicing priests must be killed, they went to get Daniel. Daniel could have been sorrowful, wailing, begging God to let the king change his mind. But Daniel did not do that. Daniel went to the king instead and asked for time. Time to do what? He wanted time to petition God. Think about it for a second. If Daniel did not know who his God was, would he have known what was necessary to be done? Most likely not. But because Daniel knew his God, understood how his God operates, he didn't just leave it to the thought that God is mysterious. You cannot understand Him. Remember, it's the same Daniel who purposed in his heart in Daniel chapter 1 that he will not defile himself. He purposed in his heart to let God be in front of him. So this is a man who has taken the time to want to get to know the God he serves, to want to get to understand how his God operates. So when the time came, a fear-inspiring time, they were about to kill all of them, he wasn't afraid. He was not losing his sanity. He understood who God is, how God works, what God requires. Now, Daniel isn't different from you and I. No. Those were people, imperfect people like me and you. The difference is that was a diligent man, a man who honestly sought God's face. The value, if we seek God, He promises we will find Him. If we make a conscientious effort to draw close to God, God promises to draw close to us. As you read the Bible, you'll find that yes, you can predict what God will do. You can be sure about Him. Only if you know for sure what your parent will do, you can do a certain thing. You can know that, you know what, I can take this. My father will pay for it. My mother got me. My brother has got me. God is like that too. You can get to know Him. You can rely on Him. You can trust Him. He is more consistent than anything else. And that is why I want us to talk about God's principles and His laws. Because if we understand God's laws and His principles, guess what? We can follow them. We can make an effort to do things God's way. Now, I hope this is helpful to someone. If it's okay by you, I'll urge you to share your opinion on God's laws, God's principles. Are they too difficult to follow? Do you have a personal experience of trying to do things God's way? What were the challenges? I'd like you to share on this platform. This is Magdala with A Time for God. Remember, this is a time for God. And only those that seek Him will find Him. So join me as we seek to find God's face and to serve Him with spirit and truth. Do have you a wonderful rest of the day. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.